Welcome to another episode of Blacklight on Sports. Today we have Khalid El-Amin. Khalid El-Amin was, or still is probably, um, very good basketball player. He was also a very good coach and pride of the North Side. Am I
Mhm.
correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome.
Appreciate it. Thank you. It's an honor being here at the um, Minneapolis recorder, Spokesman-Recorder. So much history.
Mm-hmm.
As I pull it up in the parking lot, I seen the beautiful mural
Mm-hmm.
on the wall, and it's an honor to be here talking um, to two mentors and two brothers that I look up to, not only um, in the um, sports world, but
Mm-hmm.
the you guys just set so much a big example. Um, not only for my generation, but generations after me. And I just want to say thanks to both of you for that. And it's an honor for me to be here. So let's get going.
And while you say that, let me back up a little bit. I'm Dr. Mitchell Palmer McDonald.
I'm Charles Hallman.
Yeah, we didn't even introduce ourselves. We just got into it. All right. Just talking about your journey, how you from when you were younger and just all the way through your career.
Yeah. Well, from Minneapolis, Minnesota, born and raised. From my parents, Charles El-Amin and Arlene El-Amin.
Mm-hmm.
My father was actually from Chicago. My family, my mother and my father is originally from Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
They came up in 1976, 75 from the orders of Louis Farrakhan to start a mosque up here in Minneapolis. And so my father took on the responsibility and relocated the family in 1976. And I was born in 1979. So, yeah, born and raised here in Minneapolis to a Muslim family.
Mm-hmm.
Had four other brothers and sisters, or four other siblings, excuse me. And, very tight knit family. Grew up on the north side, which is back then was a very tight community, especially the north side. Everyone knew each other, and so it was like the village, right? And very safe. Always was outside amongst my friends. My father. He put a basketball hoop on our garage when I was 4 years old, and like any younger brother, I wanted to be with my two older brothers and hang out with those guys. So was always playing basketball with older guys, and so needless to say, I thought I was one of them. So as I played with them over the years, I was able to develop very good skills. Right, I had to, playing with older guys, had to learn how to keep the ball away from them, not allow them to take it away. But being able just to compete on the same court as those other guys, I learned how to do that at an early age, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing for me because basketball was my thing. I was able to express myself through basketball. I wasn't trying to be something that I wasn't. It was just natural for me to pick up a ball and let my personality show. So gained a lot of notoriety coming up in Minneapolis because I was such advanced at an early age in basketball. And I really appreciated the support that my family and the community gave me. Encouraging me to be the best that I can be, encouraging me to be the best person I could be. And I think when you have that support system,
Yeah.
it gives you a confidence that's just out of this world. And so I think from that standpoint, the support of my family, the support of my community really propelled me and helped me, take this journey of basketball seriously and want to become the best basketball player that I could be. But growing up, like I said, in a tight community, a tight knit family, I was always held accountable, and so I think that played a big part in my upbringing too. Always staying humble and always keeping the big picture in the forefront. And so. Um, Yeah, so early on, that was my life, hanging out with my siblings, playing basketball, and definitely learning from my father, who we spent a lot of time together. My father was an entrepreneur. My father worked for the Minneapolis public schools for 33 years, driving the school bus, working tirelessly throughout the day. I can just imagine him now, waking up before the sun come up, and really he's getting off of work after the sun goes down. So he was just a tremendous hard worker. I saw the work ethic that he brung, and I think it rubbed off on me a little bit. So I'm very happy and very proud that Charles El-Amin was the leader of our family and of our community. So God bless him. Yeah.
How, how was it? You had two brothers ahead of you that played
Yes.
at North, and you're a lot younger. Um, how did they help you in your development? Because I know I'm an only child, but I do know this. I do know that my father used to say that his younger brothers wanted to beat him
Yes.
in all the sports because my dad was beating them when they were younger, and
Hmm.
they looked up to him,
Yes.
and then there was the kind of that competition. But he said there was also that mentorship
Yeah.
that he provided, and then they ended up better than him
Oh yeah.
as they went through their
Oh
athletic
yeah, it
careers.
was definitely teaching points, and learning points, and as the younger brother, you look at the big brothers and you see everything that's going on, right? So and you have an idea of what you like and what you want to do, and you have the idea of what's cool, right? So the cool things that they were doing that I felt was cool, I wanted to be like, I wanted to emulate them.
Mhm.
But I also saw things that I didn't like, that I didn't want to do, right? So I knew I didn't want to be in certain areas, or do some of the things, right? So it went both ways, but just having them groom me, always had my back.
Mm.
But always made me work for something, right? No, they wasn't going to allow me to beat them in any game, in any sport. It wasn't just basketball; it was
Right,
any game, any sport, any competition.
right.
I had to bring my A game every time, so it forced me, to have a sense of urgency, so to speak, and them just being around and, like I said, mentoring me and showing me the right way,
Mm.
just helped me and gave me more confidence to go out and want to dominate on the basketball court.
Okay.
And you played on one. I was talking about you earlier that you played on one of the greatest high school basketball teams in the
Mm,
state.
mm.
Uh,
Which year? Nah.
well, I'm just, I was telling about how you won 3 straight championships,
Yes.
and they tried to change the rules on you all 3 years to keep you from tying Edina's three
Okay.
three straight
Hmm.
championships.
Hmm.
But just talk about how you and your team. I mean, you basically put this state on the map because y'all played not only as you was champions. One year you beat Oak Hill
Yes.
Academy, who
My
came in.
senior year.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so I mean, you put on some wins, and it
Hmm.
wasn't it wasn't like you. Yeah, you basically steamruled everybody you played. There were very few teams that could beat you
Hmm.
in that 3 year run. So talk about just being that part
Well,
of that.
being that, I'm a student of the game, and I knew the history of North High School, right? Coming up, I was the water boy. My brother graduated in '88, so I was the water boy for a lot of those years that he played. And even after he had left North, I was the water boy still. So I can remember a lot of those tough losses, the tough times that North had, along with the winning tradition that we already had. But we had some great teams that kind of fell short, especially in sections. Maybe we made it to the state tournament and played in a championship game in '91.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we lost that game. So I knew the history. I knew of all the teams that we had lost to in sections in the state tournament, in Twin Cities. So, like I said, I was a student of the game. And so when it was my turn to get to high school, I had all that in my mind, right? And I wanted, let me back up. My eighth grade year, I played varsity.
Mhm.
And it wasn't a great year for us. We weren't as talented as years past, but Needless to say, we didn't have a great year as far as wins and losses. So I kind of had that in my mind, and I wanted to bring North back, so to speak, and put us back into that winning tradition, and winning state tournaments, and state championships. And so when I got to high school, I had that was my motivation. And so, being that, I grew up playing with older guys, me playing against guys my own age was kind of easy at that point, because I was older mentally, physically. I was stronger than a lot of the players my age. And so, and so I was able to dominate, and I was able to play the game at such a high level that, a lot of the teams, a lot of the individual players just weren't on the same level. So yes, having that motivation, having that, that skill level that I had in high school, it really just helped me to be the best in the state of Minnesota.
It was just that, man. But just again, you did some things that still is legendary. I mean, it's something that can never be erased. But just
Right.
the fact that because North was on the north side, and,
Mhm.
and it was not people don't look at North Minneapolis in the same way they look at other communities.
Yes.
You represented the community, because I always say North Community High School
Mhm.
is a community high school.
Yes.
It's not like, oh well, it's not like other schools. It's not,
Yes.
everybody from the north side will be at your game and will watch you play, especially when y'all made that run. You made a great run during that time. Was there any particular game or two that really stands out in your mind that you will always remember and always look at fondly?
Um, yes, it's quite a few games that, I hold near and dear to me. Obviously, winning three state championships in a row is a feat that not many can say they have done. So that definitely stands out. Um, I think obviously the St. Thomas Academy game, where I hit the last second shot in the quarterfinals my junior year, really stands out. I think even the year before, the championship game against Staples Motley, where we went to overtime, we had two starters, ruled ineligible to play that game, and we still were able to come out, with the victory. That was a great team effort. That sticks with me. Like you mentioned, beating Oak Hill, such a nationally ranked dominant team over the years, with all those all-star players that they had, them coming up to the frozen tundra and getting their, getting it handed to them. That stands out. Us playing Milwaukee Vincent, them coming to North. They're such a prestigious school, and has so much moxie, has so much swag coming into our gym, and them walking in like they owned the place, and really struck a chord with me. So I had to really show them that whose hometown this was, and it was all. That's all it was. A good competition in basketball, but it was a numerous game, a lot of city conference games, where guys were competing so hard, because it was a city conference, and so all of those conference games were tough, and it's just I have to make the point that it's a shame a little bit how our city conference is now. It's not as strong as it used to be, unfortunately, but some of those battles were classics, and I miss them. So it was quite a few games to answer your question, because the game of basketball, I just love to compete. And so when a guy competes and brings the best out in me, those are the type of games that you want to be in.
Now, you took your championship moxie from North Minneapolis to Connecticut.
Yes. Yes, I did.
Talk about that experience. You
Um,
played with some great players, and you played with a great coach at that. Still a great coach.
well, yeah.
At that time.
Well, going to Connecticut, I think, well, first we know I had committed to the University of Minnesota first. Now, let's not get it wrong. Minnesota, the Golden Gophers, I grew up watching them, right? My blood is maroon and gold, right? So I love Coach Clem Haskins. I respect him so much. Coming up watching all of those great Gopher guards who helped made an impression on me. from watching them and wanting to be like them. I was a Gopher in heart, right? And I wanted to go there. Um, I just didn't have the normal high school career that a guy from Minnesota had, right? I was able to go out east and play with the New York Gauchos, the prestigious AAU team. I was able to play with the Long Island Panthers and Lamar Odom. So, I was. Needless to say, it was a lot going on at that time, being around Lamar Odom, being recruited by every school in the nation, talks about going to the NBA and just having big dreams. And then made me think about my situation here with the Gophers, being that they just came off of a Final Four run. A lot of those players were not going to come back and be on the team when I was going to be a freshman. I wasn't going to say it was going to be a rebuild, but we weren't going to be as talented, right? And I put that in my mind. I put that in thought. And so when I went and took my visits, I had, opened up my recruitment. I decommitted from the Gophers, and I wanted to take visits to see if the Gophers was the best choice, or if I was making the best choice. So, going to visit Connecticut, I had the opportunity to play with the team, and so when I got on the court and actually played with the team, it was just like a match made in heaven, man. We had from I can see when I'm playing with the guys, we had the full team, right? We had everything covered. We had shooters, we had defenders, we had bigs, we had the guards, we had scorers, we had it all. And so playing with those guys really just made me think that Connecticut was going to be the school for me. And so, yeah, I made my mind up that that's where I wanted to go because that was going to give me the best chance to win a national championship. And I'm a winner. I always been a winner, and that's how you be remembered. I just had this mentality from a young age that I'm a winner and I want to be remembered for winning, right? So having that mindset and wanting to win a national championship, that's what propelled me to decommit from the Gophers, open up my recruitment, and consequently going to the University of Connecticut.
Now, your freshman year, did you guys make it to the Elite Eight?
Yes, freshman year we made it
Yes.
to the Elite Eight.
I do remember that.
Yes.
And then my
We
dad.
lost to North Carolina
Yep.
in Greensboro.
Yep.
It was like a home game for them.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they had a great team. Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson.
Yeah.
And so that type of team, playing it at home, it's going to be tough to beat. We were right there, but we end up losing in the end, and we learned a lot from that game. So that's what helped us propel and gave us motivation for the next season.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it was interesting because when you guys did lose, yeah, my dad just looked at me and said, "Man, they might win it all next year, man." So he was saying all that.
Yeah.
He was saying all that, and then my mom was saying, "Yeah, you're always so partial for Minnesota."
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the next year when it happened,
Mm.
one of the few times that my mom was quiet, she because he was like, "What did I say?"
Yeah.
Then she said, "You were guessing, But how was it? How was it playing in the Big East? Because the Big East was rolling.
Yeah.
Was rolling back then.
And we might say it's the old Big East, right?
Big East.
So
not the Big East of today.
So playing in the Big East, man, was like almost a dream come true. Knowing the history of the Big East. I did that, right? I watched the Big East. You had, the big time coaches. You had your John Thompsons, you had your Jim Boeheim at Syracuse, John Thompson at Georgetown, Connecticut. Obviously we had Coach Calhoun. Um, you had all of these big star names as coaches, and you wanted to come in and definitely put your name in that mix, right? And priding yourself on winning and priding myself on wanting to be the best. You had to compete each and every night, so that was like a dream come true playing on big Mondays, on Monday nights, and Fridays. Yeah, man, it was a dream come true, and man, what a time to be in the Big East.
Man.
Yeah, that was great. I remember that documentary they did on the Big East.
Yes.
I learned so much from that. I
Yeah.
thought I knew a lot about the Big East. It just was
Yeah, so much
and
rich history.
it's nothing like today.
Oh yeah,
You know, that was if you wasn't around, you would
Oh
not
yeah, it's not
know
even close.
yeah,
what the Big East,
It's not even
what it really meant.
yeah,
You know,
man.
big money was big money. That was
Yes, yes. So happy to be a part of that,
Mm,
and and so happy that I was a Big East champion. Regular season 3 seasons,
mm,
right? Big East tournament champions 2 seasons. So, needless to say, we won in the Big East. We were able to do what we needed to do, and I'm just happy that my career, was such had so much success, being that we're on the East Coast. We played a lot at Madison Square Garden. That was like our second home, and so yeah, man, it really felt good to be able to be successful so far away from home.
when you won the national championship that year. Was there any doubt that y'all couldn't win that year?
Well, I would say no. Coach Calhoun is a great motivator. Um, I learned so much from him. I had got my sense of urgency, I believe, from him. Um, he always had us believing that we could do that, and us as players, we had the tremendous confidence because we knew the type of team that we were. We were just one game away from the Final Four a year before,
mm,
and we had to, that summer after my freshman year at Connecticut, we took the trip and we went to Europe. And so we spent a few weeks in Europe. We played a couple professional teams in London. We played a couple professional teams in Israel. So we were able, to get our chemistry.
mhm,
Um, and needless to say, Rip didn't make that trip. He was hurt. He was hurt, so he didn't even make the trip. So we were playing with everybody but our star player. So I think that summer really propelled us. It really gave everybody a chance to get confidence,
mhm.
understand what role we were going to have to play, and it just really set the tone for that next season. And boy, did we have a great sophomore season, man.
Yeah, no, no, you
34-2, won the Big East, won the Big East tournament. We were the number one seed to go in the West, out West.
Mhm.
And so, man, it was just a heck of a ride. And, coach just had us prepared. And I think that's just like normal for UConn teams, right? They play their best basketball, end of February going into March. So,
mhm.
that's when you want to be playing your best basketball.
When they won it years later, did they? How did they resemble the teams that you played on?
Well, I think each team obviously was a little bit different, but they all had great point guards, right? And that's how you got to win in college basketball. You have to have a great lead guard who understands how to run the team and to be the extension of the coach on the floor. And I think that's the common denominator through all the UConn teams, that they had great point guards. And so when you have that, man, you give yourselves a great chance to win, no matter what level or what conference or what level, NBA, college, high school.
Well, the interesting thing when you say about point guards, when you guys won it, you had two good point guards
Yeah.
because
Well, yes.
you had Ricky who was there before you,
Yeah.
and then kind of had to take a back seat. But then when the championship came,
Yeah.
I mean, he came alive
You're
too,
right. You're right.
and both of you, we were all just watching the game, and I was like, they got two people like running the show. I
Yeah.
said, they're not. I said Duke's gonna have a hard time.
And Coach Calhoun was, he
Mhm.
was a little bit before his time. He was playing three guards,
Yeah,
me, Ricky Moore, and Richard Hamilton.
yeah,
So he was doing that way back in the 90s. And, it was proved for a success. Winning success is having that many guys who can make a play off the dribble and create for others. And so that's hard to guard. So, yes, it was a great tactic, having those three guards on the court at the same time. And yeah, man, we just really played well off of each other and wanted to see the next guy do well. And I think that's characteristic of our team that year. We wanted the next guy to be successful, and so we did whatever we could to make that happen.
Well, I remember watching y'all play that in the Final Four on television one
Yeah.
day in person, and people knew I knew you.
Hmm.
They kept asking, "Oh, Is he that good? He's that good. So I'm telling them about stories. When we played coach against you.
Yes.
It's at Nora, and they was just couldn't believe something. I said, this guy was. I said I said there was never a time that he wasn't on the floor that he wasn't in control.
Mm.
I just felt that, and I told you that story. I told you the story that I felt of the two players I enjoyed watching,
Mm.
whether you was beating my butt or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
was you and Rob Mesters.
Mm.
Because I thought both of you had a way to control the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Rob was quick. His quickness from getting from foul line to foul line, I
Yeah.
thought it was legendary.
Yes.
And then where you handle the floor and handle every piece of the floor.
Mm.
You're not only your teammates, but you knew the defender players as
Yeah.
well.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that watching you, if people could have seen that was a master class to watch you play.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not blowing smoke. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you controlled the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no way that you weren't gonna allow your team to lose.
Mm.
There was no way on that. So people was really impressed when I was, I'm telling them like, oh man, he is that good. Oh
Yeah.
wow, he's doing this. I said, you gotta see him in person.
Yeah.
You don't see him, the thing on TV is not like that. Then the NBA came.
Mm.
Talk about that experience.
Yeah, and the NBA, was a dream come true. Obviously, right? Wanting to make it to the NBA, play in the NBA. Having accomplished those things, it was the world to me. But the NBA is a business, right? And the NBA are the best players in the world, man. And unfortunately, I didn't have the longevity in the NBA that I wanted to, but no one could take away that me making it there, me being drafted, me spending, the couple of seasons there that I was there. No one could take that away. And so, I'm very proud of that, being able to make it to the NBA, being able to play. I scored a few points, got a few assists. I played in the rookie All-Star game. So, my couple of seasons was very successful in the NBA. But unfortunately, they are the best players, and I wasn't able to stay in the NBA for that long. But I pivoted like I always do and went to Europe and had an illustrious 16-year career in Europe where I won multiple MVPs. I won multiple championships. I was considered one of the best guards in Europe. And so, I all I can say is that I have been blessed to play basketball professionally, doing something that you love. Not everybody can say that that's your profession or that's how you earn your money, doing something that you love. So I was blessed not only to be a good basketball player, but to earn money and take care of my family from playing basketball. So I had no regrets. Well, maybe if I was a multi-million-dollar NBA player, yeah, I would trade it for that. But the experience that I gained, the experience that I had in Europe, being in all those different countries. I played my first year. I went to France. My second year, I went to Israel. After that, I played 2 years in Turkey. After that, I played 2 years in the Ukraine. I went back to Turkey after that. Then I went to Lithuania. After Lithuania, I played in Croatia. After Croatia, I played in Germany. I played in Kosovo. So I've been around the world because of this basketball. All right. So my life has been a great life. And now I'm just trying to give back, man, to the younger generation and let them know that they can make it. If the dream is to be a professional basketball player or whatever you want to be in life, you can do it. You can make it. You can just look at me and see that it's possible, right? And me wanting to give back to these younger players and wanting to coach now and have and be an influence on these young players' lives. Like my coach, like Robin Ingram was an influence on me. Like Coach Jim Calhoun was an influence on me. I just want to give back and do that same type of thing to this younger generation. And yeah, man, I've been blessed because of this game of basketball that I love.
Talk about Robin Ingram for a minute. He coached you for what, four or five
Five.
years?
Yeah.
5 years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
talk about his influence, because he after games he never wanted to talk to us.
Oh, really?
He always wanted to put it. He always wanted to give it to the players, but he always wanted, and he joked. I saw him a couple years ago. He joked. He said, "Man, I still don't want to talk." That type of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all good in that.
Yeah.
Because I know how I know how Coach Ingram is.
Yes.
But what type of what type of influence did he have on you and the players? Because that was quite a run, and for him to be the coach and to do that, that's
Right.
quite an accomplishment.
It's crazy because not many people know that Coach Ingram, he was my phy ed teacher through my elementary school, right? So what are the odds that the head coach of North High basketball is my phy ed teacher, the school that I love, that I hold near and dear, my community school, and I get to see this guy every day, right? So first of all, that was crazy, and it was such an advantage for me though to be able to spend so much time picking the brain of the high school, my community schools head coach. Just asking them different questions, talking to them about the star players at that time around there. You had your Marvin Singletons, right? You had Derek Rubens. You had he's been around, Brett McNeil, Bronson McNeil, Doug Carter, Ricky Hicks. And please, if I'm leaving your name out, please just blame it on my mind. Don't blame it on my heart, because it's so many to have to remember.
Yes.
And so, being that he had coached that type of talent and been around, I just wanted to pick his brain. And so, having the opportunity of spending time with him, knowing the things that he wants, to try to accomplish out there on the basketball court, and have an opportunity to just sit back and see him coach. I think a lot what I gained from him, he's so calm, right? No matter what situation, no matter how heated the game is, no matter if we're down 10 at the beginning of the game, or down 10 late, or we're up 10 and we're beating Oak Hill Academy. He was the same. He no expression, just calm and cool and collected. And I think that rubbed off on me, because I became that type of calmness, had that calmness, especially when in the heat of the game, down to the wire, down the stretch, down to the clutch. I was able to stay calm and be able to think through those situations, because I had his influence, that he never got hyped, he never got rattled. And so I like to think that that's what I got most from Coach Ingram, was his calmness and his ability to stay even keeled no matter what the situation was.
And I saw that your sophomore year when Staples Motley was beating the pants off of you. They came out like gangbusters.
Did they?
And then you were only a sophomore, and Chris and Ozzy weren't playing.
Yes.
So again, I'm referencing my dad again. So we're sitting next together, we're right underneath the basket, and then he's like this. He said, "Is he even blinking?" He was talking about you. He said, "Did he even blink?" He said, "What?" He said, "Man," he said, "They getting their pants beat off him. He just coming back down there like, let's run the play or whatever, and then you guys chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away, and ended up winning that game. That's when I realized we were on our way home, talking about how calm you were, and you were only in you're only in 10th grade. Man, if I was in 10th grade, I'd have been going crazy. We was losing we losing like that on TV and all of that.
Yes.
And then you look for your two best players, and they're in the stands cheering.
And
Interesting.
that was one of the things that was going through my mind. Like, I've been here before, right? Because this is the exact thing that happened in '91 when North made it to the championship, and we played, I believe it was Chad Colander's team, Owatonna, right? And we got down early, and we couldn't find the fight back. We couldn't get back. And, so I had been there before. That time when that was happening in the game, I had remembered that. So I was able to stay calm and knew it was going to be a long game. And, we had never played without Ozzy and Chris. throughout that whole, we never had to do that. So we had to have that first half to adjust, to understand that they're not playing. We need two guys to step up in their absence. And boy, did we have that from Ladale Davis, who came in, stepped up, hit some big shots for us. Henry Smith played so big, man, in those minutes he played. Albert Green came in and gave us such a lift off the bench. Just everybody who came in, they did something. They produced. They had production, and man, it was just a total team effort. And so that is the reason why one of the reasons why that game sticks out. And I will always remember that, because of the way our brothers stepped up when we really needed them. And yeah, man. So it was a great victory that sophomore year to go 30-0.
Now, after you officially retired from playing,
Yes.
you went into broadcasting for a little.
Yes.
Talk about that experience.
Yeah. So doing a little broadcasting, trying to wanting to stay around the game of basketball. I think is logical for me. Wanting to talk about college basketball. I think that was a job that I always wanted to do, but it is a difficult job. You're just not only talking basketball, you got to know college basketball in and out, the culture of the different teams and all that. So, I was able to get some good experience, and who knows, maybe I can do that again. But I love that, able to get that experience and gain that from being, on CBS college sports.
And you did go into coaching.
Yes, I am definitely a coach. I was a head coach at Anoka Ramsey Community College for 2 seasons. This year, I am not coaching, but I'm looking to move up. I'm in the NBA Coaches Development Program. So I'm doing some things to keep getting good reps at this coaching gig, because I believe that I do have, some worth that I can offer a program or a team. So I'm going to keep chipping away, and hopefully something will happen pretty soon with coaching.
And you coached at St. Thomas Academy.
Yes.
The team you beat.
Yes, I did. I was the head coach of St. Thomas Academy for 2 years.
How was that? How was that experience?
That was a great experience. Being able to coach those guys. Man, we had, some very hard workers at St. Thomas Academy, wanting to play the game hard. I can see why they pushed us to the brink, because these guys are such hard workers. They wanted to do well for me. They understood who I was, and what I brung, and they wanted to play well. And so, we had some players on that team too. So we were able to make it to the section final. Fortunately, we ran into De La Salle, and they beat us. But it was fun coaching those 2 seasons. We had an 18-game win streak that I don't believe that they ever had at St. Thomas Academy before. So, man, I'm happy with the job that I did with my first 2 years of being a head coach, and it propelled me to get ready for college.
I would laugh about it. I said, man, a Muslim coaching at a Catholic team.
We did kind of talk about. We did kind of talk about that.
Yeah,
we sure did.
That just don't. That just
it was. Yes, and it was a surprise, right?
Yeah.
It was a surprise at first, and I can understand that. Being that I'm from the inner city, and coaching St. Thomas Academy, it looks it looks like it's might be out of place, but the way that the team welcomed me, and the guys, how they responded to me and how hard they played, I think it was a match, and we were very successful.
Yeah.
We beat teams that they hadn't beaten in a long time, and we were able to, like I said, win 18 games in a row, which I don't believe any state champion has done. So I'm very happy of the job that I've done there, and yes, I wish St. Thomas Academy the best.
You also got to coach with Rob.
Yes, I coached at Burnsville. I was assistant coach with Rob Meskis for 2 seasons, and yeah, I learned a lot from Coach Rob. Man, he is a no nonsense type of coach, and he gets after it. He's a workaholic. He's a workaholic, and so staying up late, trying to get the edge on the team, trying to find, the couple of things that's going to help this team get better. He was always up doing that. And I think that did rub off on me, wanting, the team to be successful so badly that you would lose sleep. And to try to find the things that make the team better. And so, man, I respect Rob to the fullest for that and giving me that opportunity.
Now we talk about how basketball scene has changed over the years, and obviously you are
Hmm.
part of basketball royalty. Uh, well, what do you see in today's game at all levels that is good, and some things you see that could be better?
The skill level of today, man, is unbelievable. You got grade school guys doing step backs. You got, these kids with tremendous ball handling ability. You got guys, just athletes that's just, jumping out the gym. But I think we are missing, and especially, because I had the opportunity to go over in Europe and play there for, a lot of seasons, and to see their basketball schools, how they do with their young basketball players, the grade schoolers, and to see that they're working on fundamentals every day. They're working on fundamentals every day over there. And I see us here with our grade school, we're skipping that and we're getting into playing a lot of games and we're not developing our fundamentals. And I see that's the big difference from when I played until now. And you can see that in the NBA. That's why it's so many European players in the NBA, is because they are focused and they are grounded in their fundamentals, right? And here in America, you can you can disagree with me if you want, that's okay, but we are not putting that emphasis on the fundamentals, and we are just breeding athletes. And so, and you say what's the having the high basketball IQ? It's always been a premium, but even in today's game, it seems like we don't. It's even more at a premium, because it seems like a lot of players just can't think and play at the same time. And I think that's the difference. That's the thing I think that can get better. And that's the thing that's wrong with the game right now, is that we don't have high basketball IQ, and we want to do the fancy things, and we don't want to keep the game simple. And that's what I try to stress. We try to keep the game as simple as possible, and play the game hard, right? We're playing hard. We're keeping the game simple. That is going to be the recipe for success, and not all of this, having all these skills. But if you can't think and play, what good is having all those skills, right? If you can't put it, if you can't get it done in less than 3 dribbles, what good is it? Right? Because in reality, you can't make 10 and 11 dribbles. You can't take 7 and 8 dribbles. You got to take 3 dribbles or less. And the most successful players do that. So I think that's the problem with the game right now. And just, um, you know, we just fall in love with the 3-point shot also. I think a lot of today's game misses the mid-range shot. Right. And it seemed like a lot of players, it's difficult for them to shoot mid-range shots. Right. Because it is a tough shot, but it isn't a tough shot. If you practice it and you work and you can shoot, if you can shoot a 3, you should be able to shoot the mid-range at a high percentage, if you ask me. So I think that's part of what's missing in today's game, is the mid-range game, because it's all 3-point shots are getting to the rim, and that's just not real basketball in my eyesight. Right? You're not always going to be, especially a guard like me. If you're under 6 foot, you're not always going to be able to get all the way to the rim. Yes, you're going to be fast enough to get past your guy, but once you get back, you're going to have help defense once you get past your guy. So before the help comes, I used to love to pull up and take that mid-range shot, or shoot a giant killer over the big guy in the lane, which is a floater. Those were my best shots. And so I just think that we need more guards to fall in love with that type of game, and bring the point guard and back into the game.
Now, the interesting thing I also saw in your career, particularly in high school, is that it looked like you were having fun too.
Oh yeah.
So, and I mean, it just, here's an example. I'm not sure if you remember, but I do because I was like, no, he didn't. You guys were playing Roosevelt, and back then Roosevelt's alumni would show up in
Yes.
droves at
Yes.
whenever they played you guys, and you were having a back and forth with them, while you were on the court, like playing the game.
Yeah.
And at the end of the first quarter, you hit a buzzer beater.
Mm-hmm.
You were at the other end of the floor. They were there, and instead of going to the bench, you ran to them and just kind of posed. And they were all like, "Man, get out of here!" and all that. And I said, and I liked it because I was like, man, I said, these guys are out here just having fun,
Yes.
and you're having kind of fun with the crowd, with
Yes.
Roosevelt's crowd too.
Yes.
But that's what I just remember. I remember incidents like that where you were doing that, or you'd be at the free throw line and they would yell and scream, and then you'd make the basket, and then you'd go like this, or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And my dad said, okay, he's beating the pants off, but he's having fun too. It was, you were serious, but there you still had that kind of fun element with it.
And I think I try to stress that to the young players that I coach, the young players that I train, is you do have to have fun in order to play your best, right? If you're uptight and you're not having any fun and the basketball is like a chore for you, you're not going to be successful. You're not going to play your best, right? Because you're not playing free, right? So if you're out playing hard and playing free, right, it should be enjoyable, right? You should be having a smile on your face, right? And that's just the way my mentality was. And I thought that if I was having fun, I was out there that I could play my best because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And that goes not only for playing basketball, but for whatever you do. If you're not enjoying doing it, you're probably not going to do it your best. And so, yes, I was able to understand that at an early age and, always wanting to compete, right? You had to back up what you said, right? So a lot of those times where I was drawing with somebody, it was all in fun, but we were just competing and talking trash and, just wanting to compete, and so I was happy that, I came out on top more times than I did.
Now you have two sons that are playing
Yes,
basketball.
yes.
One's in college and one's overseas
Yes.
playing pro. Talk about what they're doing and
Yes.
how proud are you as a father
Man.
watching them?
Super proud, super proud. And I think that as parents, the biggest compliment that we can get from our children is having them follow in our footsteps, right? So I really believe that. I'm so proud of them of taking on such a challenging career, right? Because they're always going to be compared to me, no matter what, right? They're always going to be compared to me. And I know sometimes that's not always fun, right? They want to establish themselves, right, in their game and who they are. And so that's what's so uplifting about it. They're not just trying to follow my footsteps. They're trying to create their own.
Yeah.
And so when they want to do that, then I have to support them 150%. So, I'm always in their ear. I'm always trying to, help build their confidence, help give them tips. Even when I know they know it, I might still just remind them about that. So, just wanting the best for them, knowing, they're going through, uh, learning the game, learning how to play the game, and one's in college, one's a professional. So I can remember both times. So I try to help both of them out. But yes, man, a super proud father of the career that they chose to take on, and they're successful at it. So as long as they're happy, I'm going to support them. And man, there's nothing like having your children follow in your footsteps.
Well, you have definitely. When I said you're part of basketball royalty, that's not being
Thank you. Yes.
hyperbole. You are.
Thank you.
When your name is mentioned, it's mentioned
Mm-hmm.
not by happenstance, but what you have done.
Yes.
And I know with YouTube, people can see what you've done in
Yes.
the past. We're very fortunate we got to see that up. No, in my case, I saw it up at least twice a year.
Yes.
In person.
Yes.
I remember I tell this story. We had a player. You got you couldn't play in the first quarter for the
Okay.
I know
you
what
know.
I know what you about to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so you came in the second quarter. One of our
Okay.
players ripped you,
Okay.
took it to the hoop. They came back in Boston, and for the next 11 possessions, either you scored or you helped somebody else
Mhm.
score. We were done for the rest of the year.
Mhm.
And I said, why would you even do this? Okay, but okay, you stole it from once. Somebody blocked
Yeah.
Kareem's shot once in a while,
Yeah.
but you don't go.
And that's that Northside pride, right? Having pride. And yes, when someone steals the ball from you as a basketball player, you have to do something to let him know in his mind that that was a fluke. Like,
Mhm.
come on, let's be serious, right? And so me having to, um, you know, come at him hard like that for those next few possessions because I had to set the tone with him and remind him of what this really is. And so um
You sure
that's
did.
that's one thing, having confidence and having the support of your family, your parents, and the community, having that support, it allows you to want to go out there and dominate and not feel sorry for it, right? And so I think that I did understand that early on, and I was able to do that, right? And I was able to keep doing it for the whole remainder of the game because this is a game, this is a sport, this is what's supposed to happen. So I didn't feel sorry for doing that because I know this is a game and this is what's supposed to happen. So yeah, man, I'm sorry for all those players that happened to, but
I
I
was
had to do
mad because I'm saying, why? Okay,
that.
you stole it from him once. Okay, that's fine. But by you doing it, I don't know how he got in your face. He did
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah,
And I
it
said,
happened.
so I counted the possession. It was 11 straight
Yeah, he
possessions
wanted to
that
compete.
you either scored or you set somebody else
Mm,
to score. But we never scored after that.
mm.
We basically the game was done for us. But I was, again, I laugh about that because I said, now I watched him do that, and I said, but I enjoy watching you play
Yes.
because of the way you played the game.
Mhm.
Like I said, Rob, the same way.
Yes.
I enjoyed watching both
Mhm.
of you play, and I wish more players had that kind of control.
Mm.
You don't. I agree with you. You don't see that. You don't. It's all about spectacular. It's all about highlights. It's all
Yeah,
about this.
and that's
Not the
something
quality of play.
that comes from hours and hours and hours on the court, right? If you're not playing the game day in and day out and putting in the work every single day, you're not going to have that type of control of a game because that comes with experience, right? But growing up playing with my brothers, all right, at a young age, going over to the Northside YMCA, playing with that group of guys. You had your older guys with the Renee Pulley and Butch Carter and all those guys, right? You had the older OGs out there playing, right? Then you had the younger group, the 20 guy from the 20 somethings down to high school. You had those guys. You had your Prentice Perkins. You had the Henry boys coming on over to play in those pickup games, right? You had the Edison boys who actually lived in Minneapolis coming over and playing, right? So we had this big fluxure of old guys and younger guys, and we were all fellowshipping, right? And you all got to see, the best players in this gym at one time. So and the gym was so packed that if you lost, you weren't getting back on, right? So you had to have basketball IQ and to learn to play the right way and win and stay on the court. So I was able to develop how to control the game, what you need to do to win the game. I was able to get that experience very early on. And so by the time I hit high school, I was already doing it, and it was second nature to me.
Now, how was it? How was it being able to play with your brother?
Oh, wow. That was a dream come true, man.
Yeah,
Because, like I said, I felt like I was one of them anyway, even though we had, the age difference between us. And, man, playing with Ishmael those 2 seasons, man, it was fantastic, man. It was like I said, a dream come true. When we were on the court at the same time.
yeah,
And I have to bring this up since you brought that up, we Washburn was number one, 94, 95
yep,
year,
yep.
94,
93, 94.
93, 94.
Yep.
They were number one in the state. And me and Ishmael was the backcourt that upset them at Washburn.
Yeah.
The game went into overtime,
Yep.
and we were able to pull it out. And doing that with him at my side, man, it felt good, man, because we spent so much time on the court with each other, just growing up in the house, and knowing that we were able to do that, it was special. It was really special. Thank you for bringing that back up, man.
Yeah, yeah. Growing up, growing up, you were saying you were, playing with against your brothers and all that kind of stuff, and then
Yes.
just to be able to have that and to share that moment, because I was at that game. That game was packed.
Yes, I was an eighth grader.
Yeah,
I was an
that
eighth
game,
grader.
that game was packed,
Mm.
and then why, and then next year Washburn came back and did their thing,
Yeah.
but it kind of set it up for Minneapolis dominating 4 years.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
You kind of, it was almost like, okay, yeah, we're graduating, y'all take it over,
Yes.
and that's what you guys did,
Man.
and just it was just me and Charles talk about it all the time. It was just a good era of basketball.
Yes.
Now there were times when I would talk to him, he wouldn't be happy, because y'all would beat,
Yeah.
and we lost to them again. He said, but I liked watching college. So then my dad being all cynical,
Yeah.
now you gonna be losing, you gonna like watching him or whatever. My dad be like, what kind of stuff is that? And then I said, Dad, he said, I ain't gotta worry about it. I can watch him. He said, Charles, what you say? It was funny.
Yes.
He was teasing.
I get it. Yeah.
He was getting them. He was getting them.
I get it. Oh.
Well, we could go, on and on and on. We usually, near the end, we usually give our guests, Charles calls them pearls of wisdom, right? Make sure I got it right.
Mm-hmm.
And we give you a chance to say anything that you want to say to anyone. It could be advice. It could be something else that we didn't talk about. But is there anything that you'd, in closing, that you would like to, share with our audience?
Well, I would just like to say thank you for the support that the community and the state has given me throughout my career, supporting me, watching me, wanting me to do well. I really appreciate that support. I've never had an opportunity really to say that, but I'm saying it now. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the well wishes for whenever I was going through something, and I really appreciate it. I love the North Side. I love the Minneapolis community, and I love the state of Minnesota. So thank you for your support.
Okay. Well, Khalid, we really appreciate you taking time
Oh,
out of
yeah.
your schedule to come in.
Oh, yeah.
Again, like I said, you're part of basketball royalty. More importantly, you're part of our community.
Yes.
And you represented the community well. You still represent the community well.
Yeah.
We definitely wish you best success whatever you do.
Thank you.
I'm not coaching against you anymore, so
That's right.
I can live with deal with that anymore.
Good times, though. Good
It was
times.
good
Yeah,
time.
very
Yes.
good times. Very good times.
Yes.
Well, that concludes another episode of Blacklight on Sports. I'm Dr. Mitchell Palmer McDonald.
I'm Charles Hallman. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you will join us. Read us in the newspaper every week, and online, and hope that you will join us in the future podcast. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.